Morning everybody, and how are we today? I hope you're keeping well. Feels a bit cooler today, bit of cloud cover, bit more of a breeze, bit cooler. It has been stiflingly, scorchingly hot for the last few weeks, months. It still says up here, the weather report says that it's around about 43 Celsius between the hours of 12 and 3. It does cool down towards the evening, but not by much. But it feels a little bit more comfortable, let's put it that way today. Thank the Lord. But I will still tell you to drink plenty of fluids and take the same precautions, keep covered up and try not to stay out in the sun too long, obviously. So today's offering is rather controversial. It's regarding what they call skin tax. The skin tax is what every foreigner that comes here will call being overcharged or ripped off by the locals. Isn't that the same in any country? Not just here. But you do tend to get charged higher prices for whatever it is you want to buy. You can avoid that. I mean, for example, if you're going to do your local weekly food shop, just go to a supermarket. If you go to a supermarket, there are two sorts of supermarkets. There's a sort of like the better class one, or the local, what I call the local supermarket, where they've got goods on the shelves, barcoded. Majority have got prices underneath, and when you go to the checkout, they scan your item, and you get charged exactly the same as what you would do everybody else in the shop. Or if you go to a garage, for instance, to fill up with fuel, well, they can only charge you what it says on the pump. And if you ask for 300 pesos worth of fuel, they click the machine to set at 300 pesos, and that's what you get, and that's what you pay. I think they're generally talking about, in general, being ripped off. So if you're out and about, they see a foreigner and the prices tend to go up. Well, do yourself a favour, go with your wife, go with your partner, or stand outside the shop and let them go in and do the negotiating. For example, if you're buying a piece of furniture, and it has happened to me, isn't that normal throughout the whole world? Do they not do that to tourists? I mean, they don't know you're not you're a tourist. They don't know. They don't know you're local until you get established. There's lots of places that I use that they know me. They know I'm a local. They know I live here. And I never seem to have a problem with it. If I'm driving up the road and I'll just run out of cigarettes and I want to pop into a local sari store for a packet of cigarettes, ask them how much they are. They're going to be a little bit more expensive than what they are from a bigger shop because they have to cover their overheads. But sometimes they're ridiculously high. I mean, they'll charge me double or try and charge me double. Then what you do in that circumstance is politely say, no thanks, it's okay, and just walk away. Don't stand there and start shouting and screaming at them, because you're gonna make yourself look like a bit. They don't like that shouting and screaming there. You're gonna make yourself look like a bit of an idiot. I've seen so many vlogs of this so-called skin tax situation that people are facing. You just got to use your loaf, to be honest. Like I just said, go with your wife. But in the main, if you go to mainstream shops, a lot of them have got prices on there. A lot of them have got checkouts that you scan the item, so they can't overcharge you. I think they're talking about things like if you, I don't know, building your house and you're going to go and get building materials, they'll charge you more money. Well, even then, I use the same supplier every time. When we were building this house, we got the guy went out and done a recce for us to get the different prices from different suppliers. and told them that we'd give them a lot of business, and they gave us a very good price on all our materials, and we use the same supplier now for anything. I get charged exactly the same as what Joe Bloggs, the local builder, gets charged. I don't get overcharged. I don't see it. It does happen in Manila. It's rife in Manila. Foreigners, you're a target. You just got to either deal with it or pay it. And what you're doing is you're going on mainstream media and you're complaining about it. You're not doing the tourism industry any good here, because you're frightening people off from coming here. It's a very minor problem, and the one way out of it is, if you're not sure or if you think you're being overcharged, walk away. Don't pay unless it's essential. But there's thousands of shops that you can visit that will not overcharge you. Trust me, I've lived here for a year. Luckily, I've lived here for a year and I'm established, but they know me now. They know who I am. I think there's 18,000, I think the last survey said there was 18,000 people that live in this barangay, San Vicente, which is a barangay of vegan. So it doesn't take that long for people to recognise you. After a while, because it's such a small population, you begin to blend in. Talking of vegan, vegan's got the Heritage, famous street, Heritage Street, which is a haven for tourism. And I can tell you this, it doesn't matter if you're this colour, you're a blatant foreigner or a local, you're going to be paying the same price, and the prices will be higher in there because it's a tourist area. Isn't that how it works all over the world? When you go to a tourist area, you expect to pay more. So for the beer, the bars, you'll go into a bar, and as opposed to paying 45 pesos for a bottle of beer in your local supermarket, you're going to be paying anything between 60, 90 to 100 pesos for a bottle of beer in the bar. It's the way it is, isn't it? Same in England. You can go to a supermarket and buy a crate of whatever beer, and per tin it's going to work out, or per bottle it's going to work out a lot cheaper than what it is if you go into a bar and buy it. It's just the same. It's just that everyone seems to be jumping on this skin tax bandwagon, saying that I'm being ripped off. Well, that's your bloody fault, isn't it? One, for allowing them to rip you off, and two for paying the money. As I said before, if you're not happy paying that price, if you think you're getting dealt a dodgy card, then walk away and go and get it somewhere else. It's fairly simple. Don't let it spoil your stay. I live here, so it's a lot easier for me, but I can just see the point on a tourist point of view that, yeah, they are getting charged more money. But again, as I stress, it happens all over the world. In vegan, they have the kalesas, you know, the horse with a cart on the back. I've heard, I pick my wife up, I drop my wife off to work and I pick her up every day, and I happen to park right at the end of the Heritage there. And I see and I hear tourists getting into a kalesa, and I hear the prices. Tour around the city, how much? And it ranges from 200 pesos, 500 pesos, 1,000 pesos. I've even heard them ask for 1,500 pesos per carriage. I don't think it's per person, it's per carriage. So they're just charging what they like. And if they want to pay it, if I was a kalesa driver, rider, whatever you call it, jockey, and I said to somebody, it's 1,500 pesos, and they said, yeah, fine, I'm going to take it. But if they question me, say, oh, well, that guy there said it's 500, I've got two choices. I say, well, go to that guy there and let him charge you 500, or it's 1,500 with me, or I'll charge you 700. Just negotiate. It's what you call bartering. You can do that here as well. If you think you're being overcharged, you can barter with them. I've done it a couple of times. Gone in to buy a piece of furniture. How much is that? It's handmade. How much is this? It's a lounge chair for outside, made of bamboo. How much is that? 10,000, sir. Just like that, 10,000. A local Filipino walked in behind me and asked how much the same item was, and she said 7,000. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 7,000 for it. She said, fine. But if I'd have just given her the 10,000, she's going, happy days. Happens all over the world, guys. It's not just the Philippines. I think you're tarring these with one brush only. It's the way of life. It's how it works. So just get over it. Going back to the weather, it has been very, 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 very hot, stiflingly hot, and we are being told now to expect there's a potential tropical storm building up, coming off from the east side, coming across the country, projected to come up alongside the country and veer north. But the good thing about that is the tail will bring a lot of rain relief. By God, we need some rain. The ground's cracking up, the grass is dying, the rice fields are suffering because they're not being watered. The farmers are doing a brilliant job here. They're trying to irrigate the land by pumping the water in from the water table. But we badly need some rain, and that's another thing that will put the prices up. I don't think people realise that the price of rice has gone up quite a lot because of the supply and demand, and as quick as they can get it to the shops, because they're not being able to produce so much because of the weather, and vegetables, everything is being affected price-wise. So I don't think it's just you they're picking on. They're picking on all the locals as well, because they're having to charge more money because of the limitations of it. It's supply and demand, right? I think that's what it's called, supply and demand. If there's a shortage of something, even when we had that COVID start in the UK, people were going to supermarkets and buying 200 bottles of water, but the price had sort of literally trebled overnight. But they're going in and stockpiling it, which is forcing the price up even further, because they're taking, they're taking the bulk, and other people are trying to find it. Of course, there's limited stuff left, so they're going to put the price up. It's how it works in the world, isn't it? So as far as skin tax in the Philippines and being ripped off in the Philippines is concerned, don't worry about it too much. It happens all over the world. And, don't make a big deal out of it, people, because you're tarnishing the Philippine people for a start off. In general, that they'll be very fair with you. If you're polite and fair with them, they'll be very fair with you. So don't go in there singing and dancing and shouting your head off. Well, if you did that and it was my shop, I'd just tell you to fuck off and go to another shop, pretty much. And they're not stupid. They're not silly. Anyone would try and do it. So just give them a break. Give the Philippines a break. And stop knocking it. You can always go somewhere else. Go to Thailand and pay. Go somewhere else if you don't like it here. If you think you're being ripped off. Don't come to the Philippines. They'll rip you off. No, they won't. They'll try to, but just barter with them. You're making it bad for them. Don't need to say anymore, right? Province life for me is great. I relax pretty much every day, and I don't have any stress, and I don't have any worries about when I'm going to go down and get my food now, that I'm going to take my regular 150 pesos for a big, nice meal, and it's going to be the same price for me as it is for the locals. You just got to blend in. Just live with it. All right, people. And on that note, as I say mostly, be lucky, drink plenty of water, keep smiling, be nice. Ta-da!